seat right here. Let me just grab my paperwork and then I'll be in with you.
Absolutely,
okay?
yes, sir.
Thank you. You want a water there? All right. Detective Italian again.
Yes, sir.
How's it going? Vickery, this is
Nathan
my...
Vickery.
All right, good. How you doing?
Nice to meet you, sir.
You want to call you Nathan? Nathan or
Nathan's,
also?
absolutely,
Okay.
Nathan's, please. Yes,
And
sir.
this is my partner, Detective Green.
Okay.
Before we get started, let me just talk to you a little bit. Have you ever met either?
No, sir.
Okay, so you've never seen us before. I've never met you before. All right, so our conversation will be on the up and up. We're not here to choose sides. We're here to investigate the incident.
Yes, sir.
And the incident involving you and Officer Borsati responding to scores and the chain of events that led up to the termination of Officer Borsati. What I'll ask you to do as an independent witness to this is keep this conversation confidential. I mean, not even your supervisor, lieutenants, chiefs, and those guys ask you to say, hey, you know, they asked me to keep it confidential, and if they need to know, then they can call us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You probably be a little bit apprehensive or nervous because I don't know. Have you ever been in this position before?
I have not, no, sir.
Okay, and how long have you been on?
A total of 9 years as police officer since August.
Okay. Okay, very good. So I'm going to ask you some tough questions, okay? But it is what it is. Things happen. Both you and Officer Borsati came out of it alive.
Yes, sir.
As well as Miss Martinez. So,
Yes, sir.
you know, what we just need to do is just get a solid investigation and get your version of the incident.
Yes,
so,
sir.
all right, I appreciate you coming. Thanks so much. I might be documenting some things on paper and stuff like that. It's just to keep notes during this event, okay?
Absolutely.
Nathan, Vick.
Yep.
What's your ID, sir?
64291.
You've been on 9 years, correct?
Total of 9 years, yes, sir.
Okay. Did you work on the streets or did you work, I mean, in the courthouse prior to?
I did CSO from
Okay.
2006 to 11, and then in corrections from then on
Okay,
until August
CSO,
15.
corrections. And how long have you been the police?
Since August, as a police officer solo since the beginning of February.
So did you come out in the same class that Officer
I did,
Borsati
yes,
did?
sir.
Okay, so
Yes,
you
sir.
only been on the
I
streets
did.
2 months as
2
well?
months, yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay. Thank you, sir. This is going to be the person that we're talking about. We're going to call her. Okay. So I'm going to just give you an opportunity. I'll ask you some questions, but I kind of want to let you just give me the story from your perspective. You ride Zone 3.
Correct.
Watch
5.
Watch 5. Is Officer Borsati your...
He rides golf too as well, yes, sir.
Okay. So you guys get dispatched. Tell me how it happened and, from you getting to the parking lot to handle a call.
Well, by the time I arrived, he was already at the scene.
What did you get dispatched to?
A dispute with an intoxicated individual. I don't know if codes are fine, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
2 and 63.
Okay.
So we got dispatched to that. By the time I arrived, he was already on scene, and he was exiting the establishment.
Okay.
He was talking to the complainant in the establishment.
Do you remember who the complainant was?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, I believe he was the acting manager that night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall his name, to be honest with you.
But you didn't have any...
I did not interact with him at all. No, so I didn't even see him
Okay.
during the incident. He stayed inside. So we began talking to Miss Martinez. Her original complaint was that she left her purse inside, and she wanted her items from from inside the store or the establishment. So Officer Borsati went back in and was able to retrieve the purse and came back out. But the complainant had advised Officer Borsati that he wanted her trespassed. So we advised her that she'd be trespassed. She was pretty belligerent, pretty aggravated at the time, but clearly intoxicated. So we, advised her that if she was to return, that she would be subject to arrest. And we asked her to leave the property, and she continued to say, continued to be upset and belligerent, really about not even being able to go on stage yet was kind of one of the things she kept repeating. I haven't even gone on stage yet. So...
Do you think she was understanding what you guys were telling her? Was she coherent enough?
She was definitely coherent, yes,
Okay.
sir. I mean, she was intoxicated, yes, sir, but she was coherent. And she knew that she was being trespassed because she didn't understand. I'm sorry, she didn't. That's not correct. She I guess she didn't agree that she was going to be trespassed.
Okay.
She just didn't agree with it. She's like, I just came to my first day at work and they fired me. So we gave her several opportunities to leave. Please, you need to get off the property, and they want you off the property immediately, so we need you to exit immediately. And she almost started to unpack things from her purse and bag, just in an effort to, stall or, just refuse. So at that time I told Officer Borsati, I said, let's go ahead and go 10:15. She's not leaving. Let's go ahead and place her under arrest. So he said, okay. So he walked over and told her, he said, ma'am, you're not leaving, but you're going to jail now. I need you to stand up, place your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. And that's when she said, don't you fucking touch me. And so
Talking to him, okay.
Officer Borsati. She was still kind of on her, I don't know if it was on her knees, but she was bent down.
Okay.
Like maybe a squat or something, but on her knees near her items. So he reached down and grabbed her right arm and, just went to go pick her up, and she began to pull away and yank. And so that's when I intervened. I came and grabbed her left. I was able to get her left arm behind her back and then get her handcuffed. At the time, we're saying, ma'am, you need to calm down. You need to place your hands behind your back. Calm down, place your hands behind your back was, I guess, kind of almost what I got stuck with saying.
No problem.
So I gave her, I handcuffed her on her left arm, and we began to struggle. He struggled getting her right arm behind her back. He then grabbed her around her waist and said, hold on, I got this, was one thing that Officer Borsati said to me, and grabbed her around her waist and was able to take her to the ground.
Okay.
So we're able to get her to the ground, but at that time I lost control of her left hand,
Okay.
the one with the handcuff still on.
Gotcha.
And so my first thought was to get that.
Real quick, let me
yes,
stop
sir.
you real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when you say you lost control of that one handcuff, so that means she was able to...
She was swinging.
And she was so she was actually swinging the handcuff as a weapon, or...
I mean, intentionally, I don't know, but it could have very. I mean, it could seriously hurt somebody.
Right.
Absolutely.
If the handcuff had struck one of you guys in the
Absolutely.
face, she wasn't complying with the instructions. She was belligerent. She was intoxicated.
Correct.
She would not submit to the request for, stop resisting or calm down in your words, to be handcuffed. So she's swinging around her left cuff. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So so she went to the ground. Officer Borshade was finally able to get her on her stomach. I think she was kind of rolling back and forth, or she was kind of rolling back and forth. He was able to get her on her stomach, and I was able to grab the left arm and get that hand secure. I was able to, kind of with my right knee, just be able to put it in her back, just to kind of help secure her to the ground, so that way I was holding the arm and cuff my right hand, so that way she couldn't use that, and I was able to get that secure. And I was using my left arm to attempt to call. Now, I didn't go through. Okay. I tried 2 separate times.
No problem.
And for whatever reason, just
Murphy's
wasn't able
Law.
to go through. Absolutely. So I was attempting to, put out 1033 for us, say we're fighting one, so that way people would come. I noticed strikes from Officer Borshade.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed mainly in the back and side.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing a lot of strikes.
When he was doing the strike, she wasn't cuffed yet.
She was not cuffed yet.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. She was not. She still had her right arm either underneath her or kind of to the side, was still really resisting.
Fair enough.
I wasn't really giving commands at this time because I was more focused on trying to get transmission through so we can get some backup.
Gotcha.
So he continued to strike. He struck multiple times, and was able to get her arm behind her back, and then I was able to handcuff, and we got her detained at that point. He stood up, and I just kind of took a breather.
Okay.
I stayed with my knee kind of on her to secure her. Once she was handcuffed, legs kicking a little bit, but she kind of, I don't know if it was just exhaustion from her at that point for a minute or what, but she stopped and calmed for a second, and I just kind of took a deep breath just to kind of, get some air in me. And
catch your breath.
So I was able to pick her up off the ground and attempted to start escorting her to the vehicle, and that's when she reared back and kind of mule kicked my thigh, knee area, right inside, I believe it was.
Contact?
I didn't notice it at the time.
Right,
I said she kicked
adrenaline.
at me. Yes,
Right.
sir. I do remember her kicking and me kind of trying to move. I honestly don't ever remember getting hit by anything, just because the adrenaline was going.
I got you.
So she was really kicking. But I do know I kind of moved, so she must have connected with something. So we started transport, or I kind of pushed her arms up in the air so that way I kind of get her bent and moving forward, and was able to place her in the vehicle.
What vehicle?
My vehicle.
Okay. And you're the primary officer, right?
I am the primary officer.
Okay, so was it a struggle to get her in your vehicle?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. She's out in the vehicle fine. She was, she started to become more belligerent, from the time she got up and started kicking. She continued to be more and more belligerent and yelling and screaming, and but I don't remember really struggling to put her inside the vehicle at all.
Okay. Once you guys get her in the vehicle and you get secured in the vehicle, was the determination to stay there and do paperwork or head out to do paperwork?
We really didn't have much time because she immediately started kicking.
Okay.
It wasn't seconds of her being in the vehicle before she immediately started kicking windows, doors. Okay. It was the passenger side, the rear passenger door.
Gotcha.
So that honestly hadn't even crossed her mind yet.
Okay. So she's starting to kick.
Officer Borside gets on the radio and calls his supervisor at the time and says, something about we might need a TAR 1 or we're about to TAR 1. So we get another officer there. One officer shows up, and we get Officer Borshade's TAR, or TAR out. And we hobble her. We just put the restraints on her feet so that way she won't kick.
Okay, so it was actually Officer Borsade's hobble or yours?
It was his.
It was his. It was his.
It was his. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then who did the hobbling?
Officer Borsadi and the other officer that was there.
You recall who that may have been?
I'm still so new. I want to say his last name's Brown.
Okay.
I can recognize him. I'm trying to think of his last name.
Not a problem.
It's Brown. And then at that time, the other officer had shown up as well.
Okay.
The supervisor had shown up.
So, Borsadi gets his hobble. Borsadi and the other officer, we'll figure out who that is. They hobble her through the rear passenger door, rear driver's.
Driver door at this point.
Okay, so
is
the
where
rear,
it was,
rear driver's
actually.
door. And you said Officer Borsadi applied the hobble to her feet.
Correct.
You guys get it, secured. I'm guessing dropping it out the car,
Yes, sir. Correct.
closing your door. She's still in your vehicle.
We actually ran it through the out of the rear passenger or rear driver side door, and then into my driver door, so I could sit and hold.
Yep, policy and procedures. So
Absolutely.
far, that's fantastic. What about, did a supervisor ever show up at the scene?
The PIC did.
And that would have been...
Garriott.
Okay, so, and who's your sergeant?
Sergeant Weeks.
Okay.
Joe Weeks.
So Joe Weeks is your supervisor, and they had a PIC, which was Garrett. So
Yes,
he
sir.
does show up at the scene.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so after she's hobbled, how long do you guys think you remain there prior to transporting?
Oh man. 10, maybe 15 minutes. I hate to give a timeline.
No, I got
Get
you.
off, but
Yeah, it's enough. I
okay.
guess. Let me
Yes,
ask you a
sir.
question. It's probably enough for everybody to catch their breath
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
and settle down for a second. I guess for either you or Borsadi to inform the PIC of what you actually had,
Yes, sir.
why you were 10-15, I'm guessing,
Correct.
and that you had to hobble.
Yes, sir.
Right. Was fire rescue called for anyone at the scene?
No, sir. She
Okay.
actually, she didn't have any physical injuries on her, and then
Okay.
she actually told us because we asked her, are you hurt? She said no.
Okay.
She said no, I have no injuries. I'm not hurt. So
Okay. So you guys decide to head down to the jail. I'm guessing you're driving.
I am
her,
correct.
and I guess Borsadi followed you
Correct.
as a 35. You guys get to the jail.
Mhm.
What route did you take? 95 north?
No, sir. I jumped on Phillips and took Phillips, and then jumped on 95 from all the way to the dead end of Phillips, and then jumped on 95 from there.
Gotcha. You guys get to the jail. What do you notice when you get to the jail? Like how crowded was it, and what time did you arrive there, you think?
Oh man. What time would we arrive there? 5:30 maybe.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
I'm not 100%.
And what was the crowd like? Like how many cars
It
were
was a decent crowd. There might have been 3 or 4 people waiting to get in.
Okay.
Suspects, inmates at this point, waiting to get in. I was able to park pretty much in front of the intake door.
Okay.
But there were multiple cars. Fortunately, I had to park up front towards the exit.
Okay, and I guess, so when you get to the jail, you guys go inside before you start completing the arrest report?
No, sir. We'd started on the arrest report then, actually.
Where at?
In the Sally Port.
Okay,
In the Sally Port,
Right.
yes, sir.
so...
Oh, that's what you mean. I'm
Yes,
sorry. We were
yeah.
in the Sally Port before we started.
Okay.
Correct.
So, you guys are in the Sally Port, and then that's when you begin to complete the arrest docket.
Correct.
Let me ask you a question, and just to clear some things up. The arrest report, you did the arrest report. Who did the narrative?
Officer Borside did the narrative.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I guess, tell me the reason why he did the narrative.
I think we're just thinking because she was hobbled and just in a way to expedite the process. He said he might actually send it through MDC. Would you like me to do the narrative? And I said that'd be perfect. I'll
Cool.
start on the blocks, and we'll knock that out.
Okay.
Now that we did review the narrative together.
Okay, not a problem. So you're doing the docket, you're checking in all the biographical stuff for her. He's doing the narrative. I guess at some point he sends you the narrative, you guys review it, you submit it. Who was the approving supervisor? You remember? Garrett.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever notify your supervisor of what you had prior to getting to the jail?
No, sir.
Okay.
It was he was, I believe that was the day he was on something. He told us he was going to be off the radio
Okay.
and stuff for a while, so if we had anything, send it to somebody else.
Gotcha. So you guys complete the docket. It gets approved. How long do you think that process took?
It seemed like it took a while. It had to have taken a good, hour and a half.
Okay.
Because I had a robbery appointment to be on at 7. I ended up showing up a few minutes late because of it. So.
Okay. And so the entire time, was she in the car? Or did you guys let her out?
She was in the car the entire time.
Okay, that you guys were completing the docket.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Sounds good. So docket's approved now, and she's about to exit. What side of the vehicle did she exit on?
The driver's side.
Okay. And at that time, she had the hobble on. Who decided to take the hobble off?
I did.
Okay.
I spoke with. She had actually started to calm down quite a bit at this point.
Yes, sir.
She was, for once, being pretty quiet in the back seat, not saying much. At least if she was saying anything, it wasn't profanities. I opened the back door and I said, look, we can take the hobble off if you continue to cooperate. We'll remove this for you. That way you don't have to hop up to the front door. And we'll, let your legs breathe or whatever. And she agreed. She said, okay.
Okay, cool. So you take the hobble off. Do you give it back to Borsati, or you held
I
on
actually
to it?
went and put it in his car. I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to place it in your car.
Okay.
So I did.
So now it's coming close to, I'm guessing if you're saying you guys get there 5:30, you have the deployment around 7 o'clock. Tell me about the determination for you to leave and him to stay with Ms. Martinez.
Well, I told him, I said, I have a robbery appointment to be on at 7. I'm already late, and I hate being late for those things. But I just said, you're the second arresting officer on the docket. I said, would you mind staying? You can, sign the docket. And he said, yeah, absolutely. That's fine. Go do your thing.
Gotcha.
So, yes, sir.
And when you left them, how was she acting while standing in the Sally Port waiting to be admitted into the jail?
Man, I wasn't there long. I don't remember her acting out at all.
Okay.
But I wasn't there very long to watch or observe.
Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, you were not there for the entire incident that led up to the altercation between...
No, sir.
Okay, because you had already left at that time.
Yes, sir.
Were you concerned about any of the use of force at the parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What concerned you?
There's quite a few punches thrown.
Okay. And when you say quite a few, what are you talking about? The number, the areas that the punches were thrown to?
No, the number.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a lot of punches,
Mm-hmm.
more so attempting to control her arm and detain her.
Okay. So you're concerned about the number of punches thrown, not the area that they were thrown.
A lot of the ones that I saw were mainly to the back and side. It seemed
Okay.
like a pain compliance, but I think a combination of the number and then where they were thrown could have concerned me, such as you throw a few punches to the back or whatever, and to give a little pain compliance,
right.
And to get her hand removed is fine. Continuous side back, I think is what kind of triggered.
A little
Maybe this is a
concern for you.
little, yeah.
Okay, so, but when he's striking her or punching her, the handcuffs were not on yet, correct?
They were not on yet,
Okay,
yes, sir.
and she was not compliant. She was still resisting you guys' demands for give me your hands, give me your hands.
I had her left hand with the cuff behind her, but the right arm was not.
Right. So the strikes was probably to get her to, I guess, take her hand from in front of her to surrender to you guys' instructions.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said it was in the back and in the side.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Did you tell someone that about the strikes?
I called Sergeant Weeks.
Okay.
About the time I went into the robbery deployment.
Yes, sir.
I just called him real quick, just a quick concern.
Okay.
And a heads up.
And what was your concern?
Basically what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I just said, there was. I just said I want to talk to you about something, and he asked, just kind of briefly, what, and I said, with the incident and the arrest that we were just on, and I said, and I just said, with force and stuff used, and he said, oh, you talking about with Officer Brutality? And I said, yes, sir, and he said, I'm fully aware of it. But thank you for contacting me.
Okay.
The gist of.
And that was about 7 o'clock, right before you went into your meeting for the stakeouts.
It was. I was still a few minutes late,
No
5,
problem.
10 minutes late. So it was somewhere around there, just after 7, maybe.
Okay. All right. And you notified him by phone, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And like we said, you did the docket, he did the narrative. You guys both read it and approved it. What at the parking lot of Scores, did the actions of you guys begin to create a crowd, or?
No, sir. I don't remember a crowd at all.
Okay.
I remember a white truck pulling up
Mm-hmm.
right about the time we took her down, and then I remember him still there. Actually, when I told you that time that we got her
Right.
detained, and I just kind of took that breather.
Yes, sir.
And I remember him still there at that time. But there was no, I don't remember anybody outside. But, I was so focused on her trying to get her detained. But even after the fact, I don't remember anybody outside.
Okay, and you are aware of the video that came out yesterday inside the Sally Port.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, were you aware about the other video of the parking lot? Did somebody call you this morning and let you know?
I was called. I was I was called about it last night. Actually,
Okay.
yeah, I called about it last night.
Somebody, because it was at the bottom of a news article or something of that
Yes, sir.
nature. Who notified you of it?
It was a fellow officer of mine.
Okay.
A friend of
I
mine.
just kind of wanted you to see, like, hey, bro, this is probably gonna happen.
It just said, hey, this video has come out, and everything. So.
Well, let me ask you a question. Now, you know, because we've reviewed the video as well. Looking at the video, tell me your opinion of looking at the video. Was it the same as the concerns that you communicated to Sergeant Weeks?
There were some things that were missed on
Okay.
my end that I didn't see. I don't know if it was adrenaline or maybe the few times that I looked up to the radio and contact to call for backup, but there were some more that I didn't see. That I didn't communicate to him at first.
Okay. But all in all, and look, I'm not here to. What am I trying to be the moral police? Okay.
Yes, sir.
You guys are taking a person into custody who you guys had to respond to because of her level of intoxication, and she's not being compliant with her supervisors who terminated her and asked her to leave the premises. So as a result, you guys respond. While affecting an arrest, at some point, you guys were not able to get both handcuffs on. And if she's swinging it as a weapon, like I said, I don't think the video showed that portion.
No, sir.
So of course, you know how these things are.
Of course.
You get the juicy part, but you don't get the whole picture. Okay,
Yes,
so that will be for supervisors to determine. But look, when you're affecting an arrest and people are non-compliant, okay, and actively physically resisting, okay, sometimes things look bad,
Mm-hmm.
but are they justified? You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
So, but what you did by calling Sergeant Weeks was the appropriate response for
Yes,
everything. Because all you wanted to do was, hey, Sarge, FYI,
Yes, sir.
you know, I may not have agreed with everything, but we're making an arrest. So,
yes, sir.
you know, I'm just keeping you in the loop in case you get questions.
Absolutely.
So that's fair enough. Did you ask her, was she on any drugs?
I didn't ask her if she was on any drugs.
Did you ask her how much she had to drink?
All she said was one cocktail is all she told me.
Okay. What about, and you didn't speak with management. Did Officer Borsati and you communicate when he came out of the business after speaking to management before you guys approached her?
About just anything?
Like the reasons why management wanted her gone.
The only thing I got from him, and I honestly couldn't tell you when it was that I got this from him, but he just said she was fired because she came to work drunk.
Okay. So she came to work drunk is what? Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
In your short time out there, because you guys have just been out there for like 2 months, which is probably the equivalent of a couple of work cycles.
Yes, sir.
Had you ever responded to any of the calls with Officer Borsati?
Yes, sir.
And tell me about it. Was any of those calls you having to go hands on?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One previous, yes, sir. Just one, yes, sir.
Was it a situation that got out of control, or
no, sir, not at all. It was well, I say out of control. It was a domestic situation, where we were trying to detain the husband.
Okay.
For domestic battery, felony domestic battery, and he resisted. The wife wanted to come out and save husband.
and everything was acted within policy and procedure?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay, nothing
Yes, sir.
stepping outside of bounds.
No, sir.
So you've handled calls with him before, and it's gone well. But when crap hits the fan, things happen,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. But
So, was there any other concerns that you had other than the amount of strikes that was used during the arrest? Was anything said? Anything racially? Anything derogatory?
nothing that I heard from him. No, sir.
Okay. Did he ever, and I know you said you was yelling, "Calm down, calm down, give me your hands." Did you hear him yelling anything? Was anybody yelling, "Stop resisting"?
I don't want to tell you yes because I'm not 100%.
Right.
I was so into, getting her detained that with the adrenaline going, I couldn't say for sure. No, sir.
So you see how that tunnel vision starts to work?
It does.
Auditory, visual
Absolutely.
exclusion and stuff like that. Yeah, because you guys are doing what police officers do on a daily basis. It's a dangerous damn job.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
and 99% of the times we go to these calls and nothing happens and it's peaceful, and then you get that 1% where you go to a call 4:00 in the afternoon to remove somebody from the premises, and I don't think anybody signed up for, oh my God, this is going to get as bad as it did.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us right now?
No, sir.
Do you have any questions, Detective Green?
Not at all.
All right, stand by. Let me just speak with my lieutenant and see if there's anything else that we need
Yes, sir.
to get clarified and stuff like that, and be with you, and then you can get out of here, right?
Okay. Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much.
Not
Yes,
a
sir.
problem, sir. Stand by.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, stand right here.
Yes, sir. No, I was just saying
Oh,
leave the room
okay.
as courtesy. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, man.
No, yes, sir.
right, just a couple more quick questions. You can sit down, man.
Yeah, you gotta get
How old are you?
I'm sorry, I'm 28. So
Your mom raised you right. Mom and dad raised you right.
Mom and
That's
dad
right.
raised me very
All
right.
right.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And you keep that. You never lose that, even though we deal with the job that we deal with. Okay.
Yes, sir.
When did you complete your RTR report?
Yesterday, last night.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you watch the video of the Scores parking lot prior to completing your RTR?
I did. Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you reference anything from the video to base your narrative for the report,
As far as
or was it independent?
No, I really went into the RTR as independent as possible.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to say that, seeing the video.
Didn't
I saw the video,
right.
but
Yeah.
I went in thinking from the time of the incident.
Okay.
Looking at
You said you actually missed some things on that you seen on the video that you missed. I
at
guess
the time that happened.
Right. What exactly are you talking about?
I think there was a point where he actually pushed her face or whatever into the ground.
Okay.
Maybe once, maybe a couple times.
Okay.
And I didn't see that at the time that it happened.
Okay. I'm trying to. All right. I want to ask this correct. Okay. So basically, what you're saying you missed was him pushing her head into the ground. What was the reason why you think he would have done that?
Man, I wish I could tell you.
Okay.
I really do. I don't know.
How many fights have you been in your life? Physical fights.
Oh man, I haven't been in any off duty or any outside of the course of the job.
Okay.
And during the course of the job with corrections in here, man, I don't know, 5, 6 maybe.
So, and all the fights you've had, are you starting now to notice the tunnel vision you get?
Absolutely. I mean, I still struggle with tunnel vision when fighting now.
We all do.
It's
We
not
all do.
a struggle, it's just human nature.
That's
It doesn't
the
go
body,
away.
right?
Yeah.
That's the body. And I mean, you got the SWAT guys that they train themselves how to
Absolutely.
fight it and do a lot better job as us who don't get that training. But because what I'm trying to decipher was, did you miss what you didn't see on the video because you just didn't want to see it, or is it because, hell, you guys are both boogieing and trying to take care of business to get her to stop resisting?
No, sir. I think it was straight adrenaline.
Okay.
There's just some things that I just missed, and when I look back at the video, I know when he pushed her head into the ground, I was trying to communicate over the radio at that point. So I think with just holding her down, trying to communicate over the radio, I think my mind was just elsewhere, and whether, I just didn't see it.
Okay.
Or it didn't register.
And so you never even noticed that until
I did
the
not
video.
notice it, yes,
Okay.
sir.
What'd you think when you seen it on video?
It was tough to watch. Yeah. Even being a buddy of mine.
Okay. Do you agree, disagree, or?
Disagree.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, something. First of all, because I can see you getting emotional. Because like I said, this was emotional for a bunch of us. Because I'll be the first to tell you guys, I commend you for what you do. I think the world of what you do, and you don't have a lot of heroes that will sign up to do what we did. Okay? So first things first, don't you ever second guess yourself on this job. Because that'll get you killed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We can do all this Monday morning quarterbacking that we want to do, and the outside world can do the same thing, but they don't have the balls to sign up to do what we did. All right? So you guys stand up for that and understand something. Okay? When you get into these kind of situations, it can turn very ugly very fast. And I guess in your training is why they tell you, let's get this crap over as fast as possible. Okay? And a lot of times, when we see people that are smaller than us or bigger than us, it might get us to react differently. I will ask you a question from your training to now actually you see it on the streets, because you're no longer in a sterile environment. You don't get to land on a mat when you're on the ground fighting somebody. You guys are landing on hard pavement. So if you slam somebody's head on the mat, it may not look as hard. When you slam somebody's head on the pavement and you see it from a dash cam, it looks bad. What didn't you notice on that dash cam? Tell me what you didn't see on that dash cam.
I did not see.
Yeah.
Before her fighting us before.
Absolutely.
The reason why we took her to the ground.
Correct. Do you see her flailing the handcuff to strike you guys? You're not going to see that because, yet again, vantage point, and yet again, it's when somebody decided to start filming it. So that's what we do. Okay, we'll sit here and be the Monday morning quarterback, but I don't ever want you or any of the officers out there working doing anything excessive. But at the same time, you guys got to handle business, okay? Because if not, you'll end up getting hurt. Okay, and you got to remember that. So that's not what's being seen. And the head slamming, yeah, you might not agree with it because when we start looking back at it and now we get to see it in a different light while you're calm, there's no tunnel vision. Hey, I can't tell you why he did what he did, okay? But I would tell you when you're in a fight,
things happen.
Things
Absolutely.
happen, okay? And sometimes like they tell you in the academy, revert back to your training, okay? You guys have been on 2 months. Okay, so other than the academy, what other training did you have to deal with this stuff? You don't have that. Okay, so sometimes people revert back to fighting and doing what they would normally do. You get up and you get her up and she kicks at you. When she kick at you, I guess you said something earlier about you trying to push her hands up. Remember?
Oh, yeah, that was afterwards, and I was trying to transport her to the car.
Okay.
Just kind of, yes, sir.
So when she kicks you, what happens then?
Stand her up, she kicks. You know, I think at that point I just really tried pulling her to the car. I think it was just, get her in the car and get her secure.
Did you notice Officer Borsati slamming her head in the car?
No, I didn't notice any of that. I remember grabbing her and pulling her to the car.
Okay.
And putting her in. I honestly don't remember. No, sir.
So you told me earlier in the interview there was a time that she tried to back kick you or mule kick you.
When we stood her up, yes,
right.
Sir.
And then there was one that she did kick you and she possibly contacted you.
I'm not sure where we're getting to them at. I mean, I know she was kicking when we were originally trying to get her handcuffs, and she was originally stood up before she was on the ground.
Okay.
I know she was kicking. And then she mule kicked when I had her stood up in handcuffs and was about to take her to the car.
Okay.
I remember by video that making contact, but I think that was strictly from video. I don't remember anything.
Could have kicked you. Your adrenaline was rushing.
Absolutely, I don't remember feeling anything if she actually did.
Yep. And this is what happens. Trying to think what else. Yeah, because I know the RTR report was a little bit different than the arrest report.
I think just taking time to have everything settle in and, getting, not getting much sleep over it,
right.
But, kind of laying in bed and just thinking things start coming together for me again.
Did you disagree with anything that was written on the narrative of the arrest report? Was there anything left out? Was there anything that should have been added?
I think I looked over at him and I made some corrections. As far as I think he put in there at one point that she kicked us, and I said, you know what, man, I don't remember actually getting kicked. I don't want to put that,
right? Because
I don't remember getting kicked. So it was little things like that. But as far as disagreeing with, I didn't have any questions like, why'd you put this in here? I just remember saying, I'd rather not put that in there because I don't necessarily remember getting kicked, so I don't want to put that in.
Right. So so you take out something that actually happened. Now that you look at the video,
I mean,
you see what I'm saying? But it's just because, yet again, you perception, vantage point, but also too, you're now after the environment where you're fighting someone, versus you being in an environment an hour and a half later completing the report.
Yes, sir.
Now you're in a sterile situation. She's in the backseat of the car. You're up front. You got an opportunity to breathe, probably get something to drink. So you actually took something out that actually happened. So, yet again, so sometimes when you write RTR, if you look at the video, or when you write the arrest report, sometimes we don't want to embellish, we don't want to put things in, but yet you took out something that was pertinent. But it's understandable because you don't remember.
Exactly.
And a lot of times you won't remember until you see a video. So what we're just trying to do is make sure that we clear that video up.
Absolutely.
So, because like I said, just like the news media, they get to see a snippet of what happened at the Sally Port. And like the only thing we get to see from the dash cam is what someone provided. But like I said, we don't see a whole bunch of the fighting before y'all go to the ground. We don't see her flailing and swinging with one handcuff on and you trying to wrestle her to get another hand. We don't see all of that. So, you know, sometimes it's a small picture of an actual big story.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, stand by one more time. Let me just make sure I speak with LT and
You're
then
fine.
we'll get you out of here.
All right.
Let me
Thank
get
you
you
so
another
much.
water, brother.
That'd be great. Thank you so
All right.
much.
All right, brother. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
last question, and then we'll let
Yes.
you get out of here. Okay, when you watch the when you watch the video from the dash cam that you saw from the scores, and you said you noticed him slam her head or push her head into the ground, was there any reason you didn't document that as a part of your RTR narrative?
You know, because from the video, it's, you know, I'm getting up and getting on the radio. Like I told you before, I was trying to document as much as possible of what I kind of
Remember?
got from the incident, from the time that happened, and I'm sure the video played a role in kind of what refreshed my memory.
Okay.
But because of the way I was on the radio and looking up, and I don't think that refreshed my memory. I think that was something that I strictly got from the video.
Okay.
And I was trying to be really careful what I put in it, because I don't, you know, I didn't want to come across as, you know, like I saw something when I really wouldn't have. Just the way, you know, I was sitting up and looking away trying to get over the radio.
Okay.
I just didn't want to put anything in there that I didn't think I would have
That you
seen at the
didn't
time.
independently
Yes, sir.
recall from your knowledge or based on the video. And in the
Correct.
future, if that does happen, okay, because it's
Yes,
just
sir.
like when we testify in court and stuff like that,
Yes, sir.
there's things we recollect, and then there's things that I don't recall, but according to the video or
Okay.
the interview, this is what was said.
Okay.
So you may want to document that
Okay.
way, like, hey, look, I don't remember this happening, but after seeing the video, this happened.
Yes, sir.
So,
Okay. Alrighty.
and that was
will.
it. And yet again, I will tell you, okay, whatever you do, do not let this incident or the results of this incident cause you to not act appropriately
Okay.
within policy and procedure.
Absolutely.
Okay, and the guidelines that you get Florida State statute. Don't fail to act
Mm-hmm.
because you're scared of what may have happened to Officer Borisati. You and Officer Borisati, you responded to the same scene, you dealt with the same suspect, but your actions were independent.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I just want you to remember that for the future, because
Thank you.
you know, look,
Definitely.
officers may lose their jobs, but I hate to see an officer lose his life because they failed to act.
Absolutely.
All righty?
Absolutely.
All right. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
I
a lot,
appreciate
sir.
it.
You too.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Who moved in City Gate?
Oh yeah, I totally forgot to email you.
You forgot to
about that.
email me. Who
I
moved
know.
in?
I didn't know. I don't know.
No,
I
isn't
need
your
to call
girlfriend
Kate.
Kate? Isn't Kate your
No,
wife's
no.
friend?
Oh, I was about to say, don't tell my
Oh
girlfriend.
no,
My
not
wife
your
would get
girlfriend. Your
mad.
wife's girlfriend.
Yes.
So
I
she
need to
did.
find out.
I was just wondering who moved in. I don't know
I
who.
never did find out. I need to
I
find
thought
out.
you knew. It just didn't tell me because it was like secretly on the other.